Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Horror Mine. My name is Vic Shy, and this is the Scare Score, where I break down horror movies and rate them on how scary I think they are. In this episode, I'll be covering the highly requested Filipino horror film, FENG SHUI. FENG SHUI tells the story of a woman who experiences a string of good luck after finding an old Chinese bagua. She soon learns that good fortune doesn't come without a price and that she is actually cursed. I'll be going over the events that take place throughout the film, while our scare score goes up or down based on how effective the scares are or attempt to be. FENG SHUI is considered a classic when it comes to Filipino horror films, but how scary is it? Sit back and relax and join me as we explore FENG SHUI and tally up the scare score. Our movie begins with an unsettling black and white octagonal point of view accompanied by creepy music before the film's title appears on screen. We are then taken through the streets of a crowded market while different Chinese zodiac signs appear on screen. This feels like the disturbing unreleased intro to Jackie Chan Adventures. This is a mysterious intro that does a good job in setting up the tone for what's to come. We are introduced to our main character, Joy Ramirez, played by Filipino actress Chris Aquino. Joy has just woken up from a nap on the bus and notices that the man next to her left something in his seat. She tries getting his attention and loses sight of him as she gets off the bus. She goes to buy some bread and complains about the prices going up. If only she could foresee the prices of eggs in 2023. The store owner, Miss Beating, notices the item left by the man on the bus. The item is a Chinese bagua mirror, an octagonal-shaped wooden mirror used in FENG SHUI to keep bad energy and spirits away. She says that this one looks antique and has an unusual mirror. A loud crash occurs nearby, but we don't see what happened. Joy returns to her nicely gated community complete with security guards for the neighborhood. She thanks a man named Nestor for dropping her off and walks inside. We meet Joy's family consisting of husband Inton, son Denton, his friend Billy, and daughter Ingrid. Nestor comes to the door and tells Joy that she dropped her bagua on the way home. He gives it back to her and mentions that he looks especially handsome in the mirror. Later that night, several flies can be seen on top of the bagua, which is never a good sign. Joy hears a noise downstairs and goes to investigate. The atmosphere is tense during this scene and gave me this feeling of uneasiness. However, all that tension leads to a fake-out jump scare, which is a real shame. The next day, Joy hangs the bagua mirror on the backyard door. After she leaves the house, we hear a noise coming from where the bagua is hanging. Billy rides past the house on his bike and notices a man inside of Joy's house. This is the same man who left the bagua on the bus in the beginning of the film. Joy works for a networking company and her friend Alice allows her to take her new clients for the day. Her presentation goes extremely well and she earns the company maximum sales. She goes to pick up her kids from her mother-in-law's house, whom she doesn't have a good relationship with. Joy and her family used to live with the mother-in-law but recently moved into their new house. The mother-in-law seems to resent Joy for taking her son and her grandchildren away from her. They come home and can't seem to turn on the lights, which is odd because the light pole next to their house has power. In yet another fake-out jump scare, Joy gets spooked by the security guard behind her. This one wasn't as bad as the gecko jump scare, so I won't take away any points. He says that the lights were on earlier and it seemed as if people were inside, but that the lights cut off as soon as he approached the house. She finds a broken glass item on the ground that she said was a gift that brings good luck. Seems like a certain good luck charm got a little jealous. She bends down and we briefly see what appear to be feet behind the table. Denton starts playing with his basketball and accidentally shoots it up into the attic. I hope that they don't try and enroll him into his school's basketball team. He grabs a candle but isn't quite brave enough to go up there alone. The creepiness of this scene is very subtle and well done. We don't quite know what's happening but get very small hints as to what's coming. Also, the music and sound design absolutely get under my skin. Inton comes home and tells Joy that he's just received a promotion at work. He goes up into the attic to get his son's basketball but can't seem to find it. The next day, Alice gives Joy all of her clients as she is moving away to Canada. She notices the bagua on the door and says that it would be better placed above the door. She thinks that Joy's recent string of good luck may be due to a good spirit inside of the house. She says that Joy must not disturb the spirit and should try talking to it sometimes. Joy goes grocery shopping and wins a grand prize from a random lottery lottery drawing. She's been receiving so much good luck lately that she now seems a bit skeptical. She goes home and puts on a plate of food and milk for the good luck spirit like she's putting out milk and cookies for Santa. At the same time, Denton and Billy attempt to call out the spirit in the attic. They hear a noise in the attic and quickly hide underneath the blanket. Joy also hears an odd noise behind her, which becomes a lot more terrifying once we learn what the noise actually is. At work, Joy's co-workers tell her of a man who was recently ran over by a bus. She realizes that it's the same man who left the bagua on the bus named Evart Mendoza. The man was born in 1963, the year of the rabbit, and was ran over by the rabbit bus liner. The article also mentions the bird flu, which would explain why the price of bread is so expensive. She goes back to the bread store but learns that Miss Beating has just passed away. She attends the funeral and learns that Miss Beating died from a disease caused by contact with rats. Miss Beating was born in 1936, the year of the rat.
Looks like we found ourselves a mystery.
Joy walks up to the casket but doesn't see anyone inside. She turns around and sees Miss Beating's spirit right behind her. That night, Denton briefly mentions that Billy saw an old lady in the window while riding past their house. Again, this is something that becomes creepier once we learn what's truly going on. Intan informs her that he received an emergency call at work and will be out of town for the weekend. He asks her about the bagua while holding it in his hands, which becomes important later on. While she puts the children to sleep, the spirit of the man appears in the window behind her, just like her daughter described. Joy attends a business meeting at a cafe and witnesses Intan cheating on her with another woman. She calls him on his cell and he blatantly lies about his whereabouts. She goes to her friend Thelma for comfort, who tells Joy that she shouldn't confront Intan with the truth just yet. She receives a text from him saying he's going to sleep early, but we all know what he's about to get into. Literally. With the children at their grandma's house, Joy comes home to a dark and empty house. Joy calls her mother-in-law to check on the kids and doesn't notice someone walking past her window. She hears a knock at the door but doesn't see anyone when she opens it. The light briefly flickers and she again hears an odd noise coming from behind her. In a fake-out scare, Billy suddenly appears behind her and I just know she wanted to say,
"Would you get out of here?"
She has dinner with Billy and he tells her that all the guards and neighbors have noticed the lights come on inside the house when she isn't home. He then reveals that her tricycle driver Nestor has also passed away. Nestor's spirit then appears in the window behind them, right on cue. The guards check out the premises but don't find anyone. They tell her that Nestor died after getting into a fight at a cockpit. He was 35 years old and born in the year of the rooster. She receives another phone call letting her know that she won the grand prize at the grocery store lottery. The lights begin to flicker and the dinner table moves on its own. She pleads with the unknown spirit not to bother them and Denton's basketball bounces down the stairs. Furniture starts flying all around and Joy finally sees the spirit haunting the house. She tries running out of the room but there are spirits waiting for her right outside the door. Alice and Thelma come to her rescue and Joy tells them about what's been going on. Thelma believes that Evart Mendoza may be the key to discovering what's really happening. She pays a visit to the man's widow and tells her about the recent events involving the bagua. She learns that anyone who sees themselves in the mirror will die. Since Joy owns the mirror, she cannot be killed by the curse. The lady asks Joy for the mirror back, but Joy wants to find an end to the curse. Joy returns home to the news that one of her clients recently passed away and left her an inheritance of land. That night, she speaks with Intan and he lies his ass off about how his weekend went. He tells her to be satisfied with what she has and hints that he knows that she knows about his affair. One of the guards is mysteriously found dead in the vacant house across the street. He was born the year of the snake and was bitten by an Ekans. They find the guard's camera and discover that he recorded video of their house showing several spirits inside. Joy sees the guard spirit and yells at him to go away. Of course, no one else sees him and she appears to be going crazy. They take the bagua to a subject matter expert called Shu Liao, who conveniently happens to know everything there is to know about it. He says that the mirror belonged to rich Chinese siblings. During the communist revolution, the brother fled and left his sister behind because she was a burden. The sister could not walk or run because she had undergone an old Chinese custom called foot binding. Foot binding, also called lotus feet, was the practice of breaking and binding the feet of wealthy women to make the feet appear small. The sister known as Lotus Feet was burned alive in a house fire during the revolution. She died while holding on to the bagua mirror, which started the vengeful curse. Joy cannot break the mirror because that will cause her to die. The apparent subject matter expert seems to know a whole lot about the curse and its origin, but when asked how to stop the curse, he has no idea. Alice says that she thinks she looked into the mirror when she took it off the door earlier. They realize that Joy's good luck is directly followed by someone's death. She tries to minimize the damage by wrapping the bagua and hiding it. Intan becomes increasingly obvious about cheating on Joy and doesn't even try to hide it. She begs Intan to leave Dina alone and reveals that she is married. He fires back that they're separated, but Joy says that that's because of him. Sounds like some Jada Pinkett and Will Smith level entanglement here. He feels absolutely no remorse for what he's doing and blames Joy for the situationship. The film hits you right in the feels when Intan walks out of the room and sees that his son heard everything. The people from the supermarket arrive to deliver the home entertainment system that Joy won in the lottery. Another instance of luck means that someone else's life is now in danger from the curse. They hear the sound of gunshots nearby and Intan goes to investigate. The gunshots were a bait and switch as the incident is not related to the curse. Joy realizes that Alice is the one in danger and tries to go save her. Alice is with Thelma looking at tarot cards and the wind blows the cards away, revealing death. Alice was born the year of the horse, which is also displayed on the card. Alice hears the strange sound that Joy has been hearing throughout the film. That noise is the echoing footsteps of Lotus Feet walking with her iron shoes. This instantly makes every other time Joy heard that noise a lot creepier. Knowing that she might be in danger, Alice makes the brilliant choice of arguing with a drunk man named Tito at her door. She does a fairly good job in fending him off and manages to stab him in the stomach. She tries running downstairs but stops in her tracks when she sees Lotus Feet at the bottom of the stairs. Lotus Feet looks absolutely menacing and is holding Alice's dead body before her very eyes. Tito grabs Alice and throws her off the balcony onto several crates of beer. Because she was born in the year of the horse, here are some random horses. This scene was extremely intense and scary. I felt terrible watching Alice fight and scream for her life. Lotus Feet waiting for her at the bottom of the stairs with her dead body is one of the scariest things I have seen in a long time. Back at home, Denton is being a terrible influence on the other kids and pressures them into contacting another spirit. The lights in the house go out and they get exactly what they asked for as Alice's crying spirit appears. They go crying to Intan, who initially yells at them for making too much noise. He soon realizes that their cries are warranted when he witnesses the spirits of all the curse's victims inside of the house. He puts his children in the car and they drive off, all except for Billy, who decides his chances of survival are greater riding away on his bicycle. Joy returns home to an empty house and doesn't notice Lotus Feet staring at her. As she wanders the house, we see Lotus Feet creeping in the darkness, keeping an eye on her. She goes to retrieve the bagua from its hiding place and sees that it's once again placed above the door. She tries breaking the mirror against Shu Liao's advice, but Alice's spirit quickly grabs it from behind her. She wakes up with her face directly on top of the bagua as Lotus Feet creepily walks towards her. She sees all of the victims of the curse before being woken up by the security guards. She goes to her mother-in-law's house and tries bringing the kids back with her. They are absolutely terrified and don't want to go back to a house full of ghosts, which is understandable. Dina tries to talk Intan out of leaving, but he wants his children back. She says that she is afraid of her husband Louis and doesn't know what will happen if Intan leaves. Intan returns home to find that Joy and the children aren't there. Unbeknownst to him, they are located at Billy's uncle's house down the street. Joy receives a call from Shu Liao telling her that the curse will end if she rejects her good luck. All she must do is say no to good luck and destroy the bagua. As Joy gets ready to leave with her kids, the guards tell her that Billy has just been in an accident and is in critical condition. He is rushed to the hospital and has lost a lot of blood. Billy has a very rare blood type, but as luck would have it, Joy has the exact same one. This is another form of luck that Joy is unable to decline in order to save Billy's life. She gets a vision about Intan and realizes that his life is now in danger. She goes to Dina's apartment and tries to warn him that he's in danger. He wants to avoid her at all costs and runs off with his side chick. Joy asks Thelma to bring the kids to her house so that Intan won't find them. She follows Intan down the stairs into the garage, continuously trying to warn him. Dina's husband Louis suddenly arrives locked and loaded and shoots both his wife and Intan. He confronts Joy and realizes that she too is a victim of cheating. He tells her that she is very lucky before blowing his brains out. In accordance with the rules of the curse, another act of luck means that someone's life is in danger. She calls Thelma to tell her about Intan's death, but her phone runs out of battery. A truck carrying carrying chickens, and an ox appears in front of the car, the exact zodiac signs of both Ingrid and Denton. The truck makes a swift lane change and another vehicle heads towards their car. Joy arrives home and is greeted by Lily Mendoza's lawyer, who offers her 5 million pesos in cash for the bagua. She refuses the offer and he raises the price to 10 million. She stands her ground and declines the generous offer. Having finally declined good luck, she grabs the bagua and shatters it on the ground. With the curse finally over, Joy smiles for the first time in a while. Delma arrives home with the kids and she embraces her children. They tell her of a large accident on the highway that took the lives of many people, including animals. Thankfully, Aunt Delma is a professional driver and managed to avoid the deadly collision. The children ask about their dad, but she can't bring herself to tell them that he won't be coming home. She shows Delma the broken mirror and asks her how she should tell the children about Intan. Delma says that they already know and that she has something to tell her as well. Then Don comes out and tells Joy that they have a surprise for her. The children walk out with Intan and Delma tells her that they all died in the car accident. They all appear to her as spirits and Joy screams in anguish. Delma and the kids got into the car accident before she was able to properly end the curse. Sometime later, a new family moves into the vacant house across the street. A pair of young twins find the bagua and bring it to their mother. In the film's final scene, we see that Joy's house is now for sale. Lotus Feet appears in the window, showing that the curse is alive and stronger than ever as the movie ends. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Feng Shui. My friends, this was a very entertaining horror flick with an engaging story. Although a little dated, I found the scares to be effective and well done. There were a few jump scares in the beginning, but those were evened out by the more subtle and well-crafted ones throughout, earning Feng Shui a good scare score of 73%. The scariest scene in the film was Alice's death. The entire scene was extremely intense, and Lotus Feet waiting for her at the bottom of the stairs with her dead body was horrifying. That scene is going to stick with me for a long time. But as always, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all for tuning in, and I cannot wait to see y'all right back here in the horror mine. Y'all stick around.